Good morning, everybody. Nicholas Ashbaugh here. Welcome to your monthly forecast. So good to see you. Thank you for the couple of people that did give me a heads up and let me know about the time change here on this, that I'd actually put it on PM instead of AM. So much appreciated. Mercury retrograde, as I'm reading it live, still in effect. So thanks for being supportive. We are, just to clarify, reading for the month ahead. All of the May readings are live on the channel. This is for June, but it's good to tune in now because this helps you basically plan ahead and get ready for all of the opportunities, the twists and turns, and everything in between. All right, so let's get started. I always like to begin with channeled messages before we get into the Celtic Cross. A lot of it came through today in meditation, also coupling a little bit of that with my dreams. Let me open up the presentation. One of the things that, while I'm getting everything ready here, that came through was a change of a cycle for many of you, which is great. Again, very much in alignment with those of you watching live, a chance to kind of break free from things, and also some spotlight or attention on you. So I think it's good. Here we go, folks. For the month ahead, a cyclical reset. The karmic energy around it was that of honesty, being able to speak the truth. And one thing that's been coming through for everybody the past couple of days really connects with being honest, being able to really speak without fear of retribution, just to be yourself. And if people around you don't allow for that honesty or for that realness, then this might be a reality check for that. So there's some other things coming through again. Spotlight's on you. I'm going to help you kind of discern when and where to engage with people, and we'll talk about the new chapter. But let's take it card by card, slide by slide. So I saw something that was a flashback to the 80s and 90s, which was like a VHS tape that had not been rewound. I just closed my eyes and I watched the final scene. It's kind of like if you're going to the last page of a book. And so as I tuned into what, I was like, so what's this? Where are we stuck in the tape? So I got this sense of deja vu. I saw a conversation and I felt like there was someone withholding information, and this was cyclical. The Eight of Cups can represent a cycle. It's really powerful if you happen to be watching this here in this sort of last week of retrograde in May, because by the time June comes around, you can break the cycle. Even if you're watching it in June, it's still there. So what we see here is there's a chance to basically say, I need to be able to be myself. I want a healthier cycle. It really does come to transparency, honesty, and being able to ask questions too. Sometimes, we're, whether it's cultural, familial, environmental, whatever, sometimes people just don't want you to be able to raise your hand. They just want to get on to the next thing. It was one of the many things when I was in a corporate environment that kind of made it less fun, was just like they didn't want you to ask questions. It was like, no, so the grindstone, get this done. So I would encourage you to pause in those situations and look around and see, is there a place where I can ask the difficult questions, where we can maybe work smarter, not just sort of do the same old, okay? That's the first piece. The other was I saw a lot of eyes in your direction, and particularly I started to tune into the energy of the Three of Pentacles. So if you're the kind of person that does like to blend in, or maybe you haven't had a chance to shine in a while, it's your specific acumen, expertise, or know-how in an area that may be niche to others, but is very familiar to you. This is where you're going to stand out. And I think it's why we should all have hobbies and things that are kind of deviating from the norm. So it's also an encouragement for those of you out there that are authors or have something that you want to propose or create. This is your chance to basically articulate that and present that vision to a larger group. You might even be luckier during this period at engaging with like making new friends, getting a job, just social activity in general. Not always something that you would associate with Three of Pentacles, but part of this card is recognition. And if we go back to the previous slide, you're starting to recognize your value. You're going to walk away from situations where you can't contribute. Other people are going to start to see that you respect yourself, that you have things to offer. And so it's kind of like, it's both, a chicken and the egg, but once you start to realize it, other people start to realize it as well. And the two may actually cross at the same time and open up a new opportunity for you. Next up here was the tricky energy that I pulled, kind of tapped into today. So I just kind of, as I was meditating today, I saw someone with clouds around them. And oftentimes my guides work with that image as someone who's closed off or has cloudy thought process. So I tuned in a little bit more, and I was starting to pick up on agitation in the 7th chakra. And for me, what it feels like when that happens is it's almost like you want to scratch your scalp for no reason. As I do that right now, just the suggestion made me want to scratch it. It's like ants on your scalp or something like that. And there's nothing wrong. It's just a sort of, it's a psychic sensation. So a lot of times I'll get that sensation and then I'll get like an angry text from someone, or you bump into someone in the hallway and they're in a bad mood. I'm like, oh, it was that. Agitated thoughts. And connected to that right here, we see 5 of Swords. 5 of Swords is just someone who either they're not going to let you win, they're not going to be open to thinking from a different perspective, they don't want to take accountability, or they're just angry. And it's not worth the time and energy. So going way back to that first slide, this one, the 8 of Cups, sometimes it's just better to walk. You can always come back and re-engage when that person's in a better space. But if it is cyclical, this isn't worth it. And you can even see this person's getting a rise out of others and getting sort of pleasure from that. He's smiling. So we don't want to feed that. Notice all the clouds on this 5 of Swords too. So it's just stormy weather and you can avoid it. Forecast says go in another direction. Use your time and energy in better endeavors, and don't work with people that use things like intimidation or just are generally negative. There's like a cloud over their head. It's not where you need to be putting your energy. So what I saw for you, and this is what this whole month is kind of connecting with, and it's great, is a new chapter. So I got both the 3 and the 8 of Pentacles as I was meditating. And 8 of Pentacles for me is not just completion, but as I wrote here, it's sort of like, what's the next chapter in the journey? Because I think we've been trained so much traditionally, I hope it's changing, but just to focus on singular goals. So, work hard, get a job, or get a degree and then get a job. That's kind of changing too. And then get married and then have a family. But we don't always think about like, what's after some of these goals? What's the next thing? What am I doing on the planet? What am I doing with the rest of my life? What's getting me excited about getting up? So I would love for you to dream. It's not pressure. I'm not your teacher. I'm encouraging you to find and seek out something that brings joy and happiness and fulfillment in your life beyond this next chapter, which is about ready to close. There's something really cool that I would just say, finish what you started, close that chapter, and then think what's next. A book has several chapters. When one book or novel is done, then another one can follow. And we're like that. You're the librarian in your own life. You get to sort of set it all into motion. I'm just here to remind you of these facts and information. All right, guys, welcome. Good to have you here. We're going to now go into the Celtic Cross. I'm making a decision on the fly which deck I want to use. I don't ever read with just Rider-Waite-Smith, but I know you guys like to kind of shake it up a little bit. So let me look here real quick, and I'm going to make, I know which one I'm going to use. We'll do Tarot de St. Croix. All of these are listed on my website in case you ever need to see what I'm using. All right, so let's get everything set up here, and we're going to take a look at the next 6 to 8 weeks. Welcome, everyone. Good to see you. You can use this for Virgo, Sun, Rising, Moon, and Venus. We'll be looking specifically at Sun, Rising, and Moon a little bit later, so please do stick around. Thank you. I see we've got some new members here, and also some super stickers and super chat. Stick around until the end, and I'll call out everybody and say thanks. For now, I just want to focus on what's coming through and see what energy and information we want to kind of help you out with. Love the cloud metaphor on this, by the way. And yeah, all the membership and sticker proceeds are currently helping me kick off a podcast, which I'll launch at the end of the summer. You can always subscribe to my newsletter and, of course, to the channel to make sure that you don't miss out on that. A lot of times in the comments, people say, when is it launching? Just subscribe and you'll be the first to hear. Okay. Let's focus here. Speak your truth. Interesting. All right, we have 2 that came through for destiny, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Okay, let's get started with your catalyst first. We have the bird's eye perspective with the hawk, attention to detail. That was actually what I titled that slide initially with the 3 of Pentacles. But yeah, because when I think of a hawk, I think of something that can see great distances, can see everything. So for you, there are 2 things that I would say here. It's kind of like the extreme close-up and then the wide-angle lens that you're going to need to kind of use on your own life. So extreme close-up, looking at facts, figures, plans, next chapter, all of that stuff. But the sort of wide angle is what it's all about. Actually, like the next chapter also falls within that. It's sort of like how does this all connect? So taking time to recalibrate and focus on current blessings, current, what's the best word for this? When you've done something great. Just celebrating little victories, that's it. So all the little victories and then also thinking about what's next. I think that's always good. Hawks are really good also at getting what they want. So this is a power card, and it tells me that you have the ability to set things in motion, take flight. Your dreams can take flight. You're going to be able to start to see some movement. All right, now let's focus specifically at the Celtic Cross, looking at the ins, the outs, the ups, the downs, all of the stuff that's coming through for this month. All right, so right at the center, we have a balance card and a recalibrating. It's like double. You're going to have to kind of find, what is this? Order and chaos. So we have 6 of Pentacles. One thing that could be contributing to the chaotic energy is that some of you are trying to focus on business or work, and now relationships or personal matters are coming through. This is a very sort of romantic, even sort of lusty 6 of Pentacles. Traditionally, it would look a lot different. So let's pull that up. But I'm paying attention to this card because we see now that it's important to, for some of you, that passion is just like, I want to do this, or this makes me happier than this. And it's balancing out passion and responsibility. So your traditional card is basically one of the, let's see, we have Justice, we have the 6 of Pentacles, and then the other balance one would be like the 2 of Pentacles. It's one of 3 balancing cards. Of all of the balancing ones, this one gives you the most options. So the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card is kind of the easiest to compute. You see someone with finite resources. He's got a certain amount of coins in his pocket. He has scales, so he's weighing the options. And not everybody can get what they want. And also, you can get almost everything you want, but not exactly in the time, shape, or form. It's about realistic expectations and saying no to certain things so that you can say yes to the things that matter. Choices, discernment. If I had to pick one word, it's about being discerning. So that's your challenge. And what's really challenging the discernment? Something that brings you joy or passion in your life is distracting you or inspiring you, and maybe that will help you make the choice. But finding a balance, it could just be work-life balance because that can represent your love life or your passion. So make sure that that's in your life, some love in your life based on the illustration here. Now, what's crossing the card? The Tower. Necessary change. And notice what we have here, these birds. You're going to be able to glide through this because your catalyst looks exactly like the figure gliding off of the tower. And not only that, but the thing that brings you joy, there's a lot of synchronicities even already. So right here, we see almost the very same figure sitting atop the tower saying, I called in this change, and I'm going to be able to move forward with ease, with grace. And I see why and how I'm doing it, so I'm not afraid to make the change. Don't fear the tower. That's, maybe I need to, whenever I finally get around to merch, that's one of it. Like, rejection is protection. Don't fear the tower. There's a lot of different ways we can interpret the card. It's necessary change. One reason the tower energy comes through is because the universe, incontrovertibly in this moment in time, so over the next 6 to 8 weeks, it's saying, whatever you've been waiting to do now, do it now. Whatever you've been afraid to deal with it now. And if you won't or don't, I'll make it so that you have to. So you want to be the one that's gliding and controlling and steering the change. So this deity is doing it, and she's also getting away from all of this before the tower breaks. Okay, so it's empowered change in short. All right, I'm going to turn on my AC while we're talking. I always warm up. It's a psychic phenomenon for me. And then we'll take a look at all of the other cards here. Gives you a chance to take a lay of everything. All right, so while we're doing this also, let's take a quick look at all of the cards. I really loved this because this was in alignment with the cloudy energy of the Five of Swords that I talked about. So Page of Wands, moving things forward. Knight of Cups, getting in that receiving mode to receive love and opportunities. It's actually all pretty good, folks. I like what I see here. Okay, Justice. I talked about this in the daily card read. So if you're watching it on May 12th, you can go to my main channel page, look at shorts, and it will be under that. And some of you have asked, like, how can I make sure that I see it? Of course, subscribe, hit the bell, opt into all notifications. And in addition to that, if you don't already follow me on social, you can follow me on social. I post them there too. But also just click on the shorts tab. They're there the day of every day. So Justice in reverse holds a very special meaning. Justice upright is everything that I talked about in the short, which is basically saying it's important for me to understand what matters to me. It's finding balance in your life. People are looking at you to make decisions. I already saw that the eyes were on you. The other piece of this, though, is it's okay, if not essential, to say no to something. Justice reverse is very clear. And it doesn't have to, it cuts straight to the point, and it's like, this is how I feel, this is why, etc., etc. This is a unique Justice because she has Medusa right there on the chest. And so when you say this, we were talking about a cyclical thing that's stopping. This is what stops it, your declaration. And I mean, this is also, we don't have Eight of Cups here, which is good. I don't want to see it because Eight of Cups just keeps coming and coming and coming sometimes. And so if the cyclical issue was karma, if the karmic issue, was honesty, then you want to get into a space where you can be yourself authentically, you can say what you need to, you can stand up for yourself. Some of you are sick of not being appreciated, being underpaid, undertitled, underappreciated. And so this is just saying enough now. I need to find the balance in my life. By the way, her creating this sort of cycle, it also connects with the balancing energy that we were just talking about here. I mentioned there's like 3 cards that show that balance. So you got 2 of them. And so this is no, and this will give you more resources. This will give you like the 6 of Pentacles then, because it's helping you get some more time and energy back. So each step you take where you claim things and you focus on things, it starts to build that tree of life, the 10 of Pentacles, which is on the horizon for you. I didn't even notice this when I was saying it because these are, you got all of the balance cards because they don't look like the normal Rider-Waite-Smith cards. So there's a theme. Now we have to stop. I need to take my picture off and you can just see let's see here. Okay, so you have all of them here. So the scales are in this one, just to remind you what the traditional card looks like. So scales, and then the traditional 2 of Pentacles shows a person who can't quite find their balance. While I find this one, here we go. And it's almost like another scale. So scales, scales, and scales. Choices. You may even have to decide between 2 or 3 different things right now. And that's sometimes difficult. You and only you can make those decisions. But once you get your footing, and we've got Judgment here, which is a fresh start. Once you kind of get through that, it's like a rebirth for you. So yes, something needs to go. Maybe 1 or 2 things needs to go, and then you can really focus on that. And that's what this 2 of Pentacles shows you. We've got it looks like the moon. It could be the sun. But let's say it's the moon and the earth. It's better connected that way. You can't be both. You have to make a choice. You have to figure out where your energy is. Once you do that, then things can start to move in the right direction for you. I think for some of you, you're trying to be too many things to too many people. And it basically, the traditional card shows this as well. It's like a rubber band. There's a finite amount of give, and then it snaps. And even with this, she's torn between two things that are important. So it's just important to make a choice. Once you do, you're going to start to feel that you have more energy. There's a weight off your back, and it's a lot like this woman that's flying away from the tower, and it's a lot like the hawk. You're going to be able to move on, okay? So lots of movement. This is exciting. You have the most movement of any sign that I've seen. Some of you are physically moving from one home to another. Some of you are going to physically move into a new job. You might be traveling for work. Big, cyclical, awesome sort of changes. For those of you where you're like, Nicholas, I'm fine, nothing's happened, then it's within. Then what could be happening is an emotional awakening or creative awakening or a renaissance. So we have Judgment here in reverse. This Judgment card, instead of showing souls rising up from the dead, it has a little kid in the spotlight. What did I say this whole time? The spotlight is shining on you. This is an exciting time for you, Virgo, if you're ready to step into the spotlight, okay? And that's the question for you. I'll pull the traditional one while we're doing this. I'm glad I chose this deck. It's actually, it's perfect. I didn't know what I wanted to do before we started. Normally I have a very clear sign. I'm like, it'll come to me. So here's what I love about Judgment. It's one of my top 3 cards. I love the Star. I love Judgment. I'll leave the other one. I haven't decided on the other one, but they're my top 2 anyway. The reason I love it so much is because it is sort of like the Energizer Bunny. It never stops. It's like life because we're always coming back. We're trying something different. And it's kind of like the sky is the limit, but you have to really decide what you want. So it really nicely connects with everything that we just talked about. Here's the Judgment card. Okay, so here's your traditional one. We have Gabriel with his or her horn blowing and saying, what is it that you want to do? This is your time. This is your call to action. And then we have souls rising up. And so it's basically reminding you that we rinse and repeat this cycle a lot. This is one body, one lifetime, one name, one face. But I've lived many lifetimes. I'll live many, many more. And the soul, the reason, have you ever wondered why we're so fascinated with superhero movies or vampire movies or things like that, where they're eternal? Not so much the vampires, but it's kind of like immortals, right? What's cool about the immortals is it feels natural because our soul doesn't want to die, and it doesn't really die. It just keeps becoming reborn. So you're a phoenix rising from the ashes. This is a chance to reinvent, to reinterpret, to recalibrate and realign to something. That's really all you have to do. I know that you're like, Nicholas, that's a lot, but it's not. It is and it isn't. Sometimes all you have to do is suspend disbelief and say, let's give this a shot. One thing that's important with Judgment in the reverse state is disbelief is your main block this month. Basically, I want you to try to avoid thought patterns where you say, I can't, I won't, I never, etc. Take them out and instead try to put in something like, I'm working towards this, I'm open to this, I'm releasing this. Positive, affirmative, and forward looking because of the hawk. Okay, let's take a look at what this is all about. You have 2 cards here for the future, near future, and outcome. They're both good. Page of Wands. You may need to do just a little bit of unearthing, a little bit of soul searching as well with this. So we have the Page of Wands striking lightning, but also kind of clearing up any confusion because I saw clouds around a person. So you may be going in there and people maybe think, why do you have to cause trouble? You're not. You're just alluding to the fact that there's something that needs to happen. A storm is going to happen one way or another. You're just the forecaster. Don't hate the forecaster. So that's one thing there. But it's reminding you of your power to draw inspiration too from your higher self, from your intuition, and then do something with it. Let's take this illustration to the side. A traditional Page of Wands. It's kind of like it's one of the wild childs of the different pages. Like Cups is super sweet and engaging and passionate. Swords just kind of gets to work and is already like 3 steps ahead of you. And Pentacles, they just have it together. They're making things happen. But Wands, it wants to get your attention. It's trying something new. It's dressing in bold colors. It's kind of out there, and that's where you need to be. You have to sort of stand out and embrace the inner wild child a little bit And it's probably most in touch with the Fool card, because sometimes it just takes a leap, and it's like, I'll figure out how to articulate it. We'll find the money later. We'll do this later. So I like the leaps and bounds that you're able to take cognitively. Try not to limit that. Allow yourself to be free and wild. And that's what this Page of Wands wants you to do. Also, sometimes words get in the way and they're dense. So this is also saying, show it, do it. And then you'll get the buy-in, you'll get the sort of support that you might be looking for. Okay? It's going to be a busy month, folks. The Four of Swords in reverse is wishing that you could rest. So if you're watching this and we're live right now and you're like, okay, things are a little slow, enjoy. Take a nice deep breath. And then also, whenever you can enjoy a little dip in the schedule, don't worry so much, because Four of Swords reversed can simply indicate that there's going to be a lot of movement, change, and a lot going on in your calendar for those of you that are still working. Even if you're a student or retired, you just might find that your social calendar is kind of lighting up, and you have to decide when and where to push back. Going back to our centermost card, can't do everything, can't be everything, and can't be everywhere at once. And both of these, it's going to remind you, this is one thing. In addition to the honesty, another karmic energy is saying no. Don't be afraid to say no. In other words, say no if you need to. Let's put it in a positive affirmative, not like a double negative. Okay, I think we've said everything we need to about that, except one last thing is sometimes you're just not allowing. So let's say your schedule's okay, but you just like to burn the candle at both ends. This is saying, realize that you do need a certain amount of sleep. I recently pulled a muscle, and last night I just gave myself 2 or 3 hours extra sleep. I feel amazing today. The body needs sleep to repair. So give yourself ample time to, and I had a lot of ideas when I woke up too, because my dreams were really kind of taking me in directions. They were more focused on my business, which is why I had to meditate for you. So I go where the energy is, but it helps. It really helps to kind of give yourself that time. So meditation, relaxation, and sleep. Give yourself time wherever you can get it. All right. This is also moving on. I said I was done, but 3 other things popped into my head. So whatever this is, the change, the movement into something new, there's going to be a little bit of thoughts of what was. Give it time. Time does heal. Time does shift perspective. And it may not, maybe it's overreaching to say time heals everything. Time heals a lot. Time helps a lot. And the rest of it is up to us. But I'm seeing you moving in the right direction here. You're being guided, and you're also being encouraged to take your time. Temperance is one of the harder cards to deal with, because sometimes it just feels like, are we there yet? When is this over? Why am I still doing this? Why hasn't this happened yet? Patience is going to help you out quite a bit. And so there could be, as you're waiting to hear back from someone or something, a little bit longer of a pause than you wanted. Again, take care of yourself, focus on something else. Try not to fixate too much on that sort of slow energy. The universe is moving exactly at the pace it needs to around you, and it's setting up synchronicities, so you don't want to rush something before it's complete. Kind of like if you're baking. If it hasn't set yet, or if the bread wasn't proved or something wasn't right, it's just not going to work. Excuse me, so don't rush things here. Temperance is one of the angel cards, and you got 2 of them. Judgment, as you saw in the traditional illustration, is an angel card, and Temperance is an angel card. So you're being guided through some significant changes. You're not alone. Even if around you, you don't have the people that you want or the resources that you want, you have the guidance that you need in order to open up new channels and new opportunities. So trust your intuition, trust your guidance, and read the signs. To read the signs, you need to get perspective, and you need sleep and rest. And I can say that after many years, I'm a lot less effective if I'm not rested. The words don't work. You lose your patience. You're just not focused. So make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Now let's look at your opportunities and your outcome. We actually have a partnership, folks, that's coming through. So for those of you looking for love, we have a Queen of Cups and a Knight of Cups. Not only that, but for many of you, this is something that you've been seeking. This is a manifestation energy here. The interesting thing for you, first and foremost, to make this happen in the outcome, there's this receptive knight. So the knight, it's like the cup is actually coming to him. He's not tossing it out there. He's ready to receive it. So part of this is knowing and feeling, I am worth all of this and then some. Worthy. Focus on feeling worthy and accepting something when it comes through. This Knight of Cups is the Knight of Hearts, you can see. Here's what hopes, fears, and opportunities. For some of you, you might be afraid that it's too much. If we read this as a fear card, Queen of Cups, I'll be overwhelmed. You may be worried that you're going against the flow, against what's expected. Maybe that's what's necessary for you to be happy, because I told you the Page of Wands is a little bit of a wild child. So some of you are doing something that people may not understand now, but they may understand in the future. She's also having a difficult time. Both cups. So he's upright, but she's reversed, but both of the cups are upside down. Even when you read upright, sometimes you're going to get a reversal. So this is an upright knight with a reversed cup. So there's a common theme here. Both you and the partner, for those of you that are, whether you're in a relationship or looking, because I think this actually is going to hit both. The main thing is both parties have things to work on. You finish your stuff first. That's why I think I was focusing so much on the 3 and the 8 of Pentacles, because those are about apprenticeship and mastery. And so you kind of master and learn everything that you need to, because you're not going to go as an apprentice to someone else to learn. You need to kind of have it all ready. In short, you want to pull in a partner, not a teacher, a peer, not a teacher. We don't want the mothering energy or fathering energy to come through. Just two strong individuals meeting face to face, okay? So a little bit of inner work. I feel like you're a little more there than your partner, and that's why Temperance is here. So if you're looking for love and it hasn't shown up yet, just keep being open, keep focusing on these other things that are shifting in your life, and know that this person will come in when they are ready. And focus on the receptive energy. Receptive, not demanding. So I'm open and ready and willing, not I want, I need, I must have, because that's too demanding and that'll push this energy further away. Law of detachment we need to kind of connect with. Taking all the relationship stuff out, there's a lot of creativity flowing through. And there's a lot of things that might be pulling at your interests. So I think not getting pulled into everyone else's stuff is going to be key. This can be mom, sister, or friend, where there's just a lot of energy around them, and you can take a certain amount, but not everything, okay? So proper boundaries between you and this other person that may already be in your life, in your periphery. All right, folks, let's move on to the expanded forecast. As we look at the expanded forecast, it comprises health, wealth, love, and destiny. A reminder with each of these, if you need advice in your body, go to a doctor. Finances, go to a financial advisor. And if there's emotional issues, of course, work with a therapist. What I'm here to do is to show you energy and show you options and empower you to make the best choices. So with respect to your health, which is mind, body, and spirit, we have a fox. It says you're swift and smart. Solutions and problems are easily found. Always listen to your instincts. God, there's so many words on this. Resources surround you, be open to romance. Too many words. Cleverness is really what we can focus on. And that you can't outfox the fox. Whenever I see this does connect with 5 and 7 of swords. So you're going to see some of these problematic or even cyclical signs before they come in. So you're just going to avoid it. Yes, that's the main message here. The song that came to mind was like Taylor Swift's Trouble. She knew that someone was trouble before they walked in. You know that too. So if you notice trouble, don't engage. Just go on to something else. The positive piece here is clever. So this is your chance to really focus on thinking your way through a situation. It's coming through in health. So there may be something where it's creating sort of dissatisfaction or some sort of an emotional response, which then leads to a physical response. So finding a solution can help alleviate the emotions, which helps bring equilibrium to the physical. So that's kind of what I'm getting with that. Let's take a look at specifically the health cards. Without a shadow of a doubt, the number one thing that I see is balance. You read that in your own life as it feels best. It could be balancing your budget. It could be finding work-life balance. It could be a difficult decision that's weighing on you and you need the advice of another person. It could literally be balance, in which case pause the video and go book an appointment with your doctor. If you're having any problems with inner ear or any other sort of, maybe it's difficult to, you're getting through an injury and there's something there, whatever's going on. If there's physical balance issues, it's time to talk to a doctor. Everything else, they're choices in your life. But that's the number one thing because the Tower card shows what happens if you don't find that balance and equilibrium. Things get a little messy. We don't want that. The good news is change, a fresh start, a new chapter. Getting different opinions could help as well with this. And then when we look over here, I'm really happy with everything. It looks like you're going to start to see some movement, some of you are learning how to balance out highs and lows emotionally as well. Then the second thing that came through after balance is sleep and rest. And part of this can just be making sure that your schedule is manageable and not seeing yourself stuck in between all these things. You have the capacity to say no. Saying no is your power this month. It's your superpower. Trying something new is what the universe is inviting you to do. Balance and emotions are going to be the triggers that kind of could speed up or slow you down. Okay? All right. We just looked at health. Now we're going to move on to wealth. And with wealth, this is going to be resources, life purpose, and career. Your wealth card also came through in the reverse state. I mean, we talked about this earlier. So Archangel Gabriel, which is connected to judgment, and judgment also came through reversed, is saying, speak your truth. Thank you, Gabriel, for helping me speak with integrity. Justice in reverse is about speaking your truth and righting a wrong and saying what needs to be said. Gabriel came through twice. So now you have 3 angel cards coming through and saying you can do this, you're being supported. But Gabriel a couple of times. So focusing on using your voice at work, since this is coming through, or in your, whenever we're looking at money and life purpose, that's going to be essential. Don't let somebody strong arm you, talk you in, or guilt you into doing something that isn't your truth or your choice. Sometimes people get confused between these two. I mean, the illustrations help, but the words are close. Judgment and justice are not the same. So justice is the decision-making process, just like what a justice does in a court of law. They take in everything and they make a choice. So if you haven't made the choice yet, that's step 1. In your career, in your life, just being happy in general. Make the choice that's right for you. Some of you are at a standstill, Medusa. Judgment is accepting the choice, is accepting other people's choices, is basically what's next. It's the next chapter card. That's why there's a little baby on this one, and that's why in this one the souls are rising up. Okay, that's what it is. What am I going to do about this? How am I going to react to it? I can't change that judgment, but I can change my reaction. So do you accept the new opportunity, the new challenge? Can you accept that you may not want something? Once you can do that, these cards are empowered. Your decision-making, you're accepting, you're manifesting, you're rising above the ashes. Similar sounding cards, very different functions. It took me years of reading probably to understand and get a personal connection to the 2 cards, but that's they're very, very different. Judgment is actually quite freeing on some levels because it's done. So I'll give you another example of this. Some of you have decided to quit your job. Some of you have decided to change your major rather. Some of you have figured out what you want. It's figuring out what you want, and then all of the pieces align. It's so freeing. So the justice moment has happened, the judgment has happened, and now you're embracing it and saying, let's do something about it. And things just start to get really cool after that. But some of you are struggling with, it's like you disbelieve what you know. The decision's been made. Acceptance hasn't happened for some of you yet. Or movement hasn't happened. The page is going to help you with that though. So all you have to do is start to move in the direction that your heart is telling you, and you're going to see some exciting changes. For many of you, there's a lot of movement going on. I had a dream the other day about someone starting a new job and having to clean up the desk. A little bit of that overflows with you. It feels like you might be starting into something new where someone didn't tell you everything, or you bought a house and there's a renovation right off the bat that you have to do. One thing that I talked about with yesterday's reading was to ask questions. Because of the arrangement of cards, because we have the Tower at the center, I also encourage you to be an inquisitive person. If you're going to buy something like a home, get an inspector. Make sure that you get to choose the inspector. It's not sort of cherry-picked by the owner. Make sure that you've read surveys and done the research. When you're going to start a job, Google it. See what's on some of those job rating sites where people can talk about their experiences. If you're going to choose a certain business, look at Yelp and Google reviews and things like that. Make sure that you've done your homework. It will help you, okay? Because you can benefit from other people's experiences here. Overall, what I see is for some of you just deciding on the path, giving notice if you need to, making an application if you need to, changing your major if you need to, changing your focus if you want to. All of this is your choice. These cards are all about choice. Then I see good stuff. You have help if you need it. You also might find the next new thing from someone that's close to you. So, articulate that a little bit. And that's it. It looks pretty good, actually, when I'm looking at wealth overall. If I'm going to see one card here, I'm happy that the Six of Pentacles is here. I invariably read the Two of Pentacles as balance in your life, and I look at this more as money, and it looks like the two need a little bit of work. So work-life balance and choices with money and time, and together, if you add them, then you're in a better place. We have the Eight of Pentacles, which is kind of what I picked up on when I was meditating, and that is getting ready to kind of something's almost done. You're on the right track. Creativity is going to be important in the next chapter of your life as well. Having a say in something. We may not have an emperor or empress. We do have a queen. So that's the same. Having a little bit of authority, a little bit of freedom to speak up is going to be important. Okay. Now let's move on to many people's favorite, love. We have Hypnos. Hypnos is reversed, and much to, it's exactly what it looks like. This is a god of sleep. So just like this, the Four of Swords, when this is a sleepy card, when the cards are reversed, it's saying wakey, wakey. There's going to be some movement when it comes to relationships. One of the interesting things that I get with this too is that you may get a sort of a flash of what's about to come, either just in your day-to-day life, in your meditations, or in your dreams. So one of my most potent places for clairvoyant work is dreams and meditations. No surprise, since I do a lot of dream work here. But I'll often see someone before they come into my life. I often see when people are doing things behind my back. And I often see when new opportunities are opening up. And even as I'm choosing people that I want to reach out to for the podcast, I've seen myself actually, I know that certain people will accept because I see myself talking to them. I'm like, oh, good. All right, that'll be one that I'm going to do. And then last night I was getting some ideas. So for me, I will meet new people sometimes in my dreams. I may not know their name or face, but I'll recognize the energy when I see them in real life. Pay attention. For some of you, a new person could be coming into your life and you're going to pick up on it. Or you're going to get the deja vu where you meet them and you're like, I knew it. Somehow I expected this to happen. So pay attention to the deja vu too. It's probably karmic. And the karma this time, like I said, for some of you is just balance and saying no. For some of you, it's speaking up, speaking your truth. So as long as you can do that this time, it should be a better engagement with this person. That's why you decided to re-engage. All right, so we're going to look at this in 3 different connotations. If you're looking for love, actually, I take it back. We start with love, then looking for love, and then single and happy. So if you're in a loving relationship, we'll start with that. So for those already in a relationship, well, there's some changes, folks. On the best possible read of this, I'll read it as if it were positive changes and then tricky changes. So if everything's great between the two of you, and it could be because these cards are very compatible, here's what I'm picking up on. One or both of you may be in a major life change. Maybe you moved for work. Maybe you graduated. There could be a birth in the family. Judgment has a baby. So there could be something that really shakes things up, and you have to reallocate time and money. You have to say no to some things that you want. You have to maybe take a back seat on certain things in your life so you can focus on what matters. You may also need to move in or out of a a place because your needs have changed. So there's movement. So what do you need to do for each other? Well, support each other. I would say one thing is make sure that you're both getting enough time and rest, and just sort of be there. This person isn't controlling the other person. The angel is just there to give a listening ear and guidance as needed. Angels are pretty quiet unless you ask them for help. They're always there, they're always available, but they typically are in the background. And I tend to just kind of call on them for the biggest of things. I use my higher self and my other guides for everything. They're there for everything. Someone chastised me in the comments. But I'm like, if you're going to call on angelic energy, especially archangelic, pick the big stuff, and always use gratitude, because then they're really ready and able to make a difference here. You don't have to be everything for your partner all the time. We can take a lesson from the archangels and angels in general. They're kind of there in the background. They're saying, like, call me if you need me. So that's what I would sort of say. You could be there and say, if you need anything, just let me know how to show up. That's the best thing that you can do. You can't heal everything in your partner. And you also can continue to work on accepting help when it comes in, because some of you are overworked. So that would be my advice there. Things are manageable, but there's a lot going on. For some of you that are already in a loving relationship, there is an understanding that it might have run its course. And that's not, there's no fingering of blame. Sometimes your karma's complete and you're tired. And that's what I'm getting here is exhaustion, sometimes chaos, sometimes not getting what you want, what you're putting into this, and feeling like I need to move on. It's okay. Take your time. Nothing quickly, nothing overnight. Take your time. It looks like it will be okay. All of these cards are really good for those of you moving out of a relationship, okay? So whether you're just in a really, interesting period of transition and move, just support one another, okay? And because this one, by the way, if we look at it, Temperance is a big old Ace of Cups. From a distance, it just looks like a chalice. There's fire in this, but it kind of reminds me of that. So it's just saying, I'm open and I'm here and I want you to be happy too, but I can't make everything better for you. And that's really the main thing to focus on. Okay. Resetting it now for those of you that are looking for love. Wow, there is so much going on for many of you that, first of all, yes, but also don't forget this. So get on top of your money. Balance your schedule out so that you have time for this person. Let the dust settle in a new job or new home first. And if you're on the rebound, because some of you may have just gotten out of a relationship or just experienced a great windfall or maybe a loss, you have to adjust to the new you. You have to sort of spread your wings a little bit first. Once that happens, feels like it's water because we've got a lot of symbols connected to water. It could also be fire, but there's a water or fire sign that's on the horizon. There could be a couple of options actually, because all three of these could be red. So back to the center, discernment. What do you want? What is it that you're looking for? And that's key. The universe needs to sort of have more discernment, more clarity, more focus from you. Okay, for those of you that are single and happy, it's a really optimal time to be single and happy. You're going to experience a lot of growth. There's a lot of attention in your sort of general vicinity. And with that, you can be seen, you can make new connections. You're going to actually have a great time. And the challenge here is just to slow down long enough to drink it all in. Because these cards, all these cups continue to be upside down. So sip it, take this moment to drink in the moment is what I would say. That's my message for everyone looking for love or in love. All right, for those that are just wondering what's next, what's that next chapter? Let's take a look at your destiny card. You got two. There's common themes here. It excites me when I see synchronicities. So the first one is rest and rejuvenation. And we see exactly the same symbol. Normally this card would be a coffin or sepulcher. You see like someone laying to rest, putting something to rest. And when it's reversed, it's saying you haven't given yourself enough time to integrate and to release. And so meditation is fine. If you don't have time to sleep, find some time to, make time. Make time for all of these things. To meditate, to sleep, it's important. So one thing I was doing for my sore muscle last night, Epsom salt bath. It was 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes max. So to the side, I like on the counter, I put something on my iPad, just kind of listened to that as I was relaxing. And then I was multitasking a little bit there, but I just let the muscle relax and I was listening to a podcast. So you can do something like that. And it's multitasking, but I was still relaxing a little bit. I needed to rest the muscle. I needed to research something. I'm like, I actually can do both and I can just chill. And it was nice. So you can actually do a couple things at once if you need to. The body might need some rest. Epsom salt baths are great. You can get them at the convenience drug or grocery store for like $3 or $4. It's bags of salt, basically, bath salt, basically. It's not expensive. You shouldn't have to pay a lot for that. And getting an extra 15 minutes or 1 hour of sleep can do a world of good for you. So get that rest, first and foremost. Give yourself time to recover. When the Three of Swords, or in this case, a broken heart, is reversed, what we're really looking at is mending, healing, and moving. The body, the mind, and the soul heal. There may always be a little bit of a scar there, but it heals. And you're on the precipice of healing. How do you heal? By allowing yourself time. You can't give so much to everyone around you. You can. I'm not your boss, but you shouldn't. Value yourself, take time for yourself, love yourself. That's my encouragement. I always like to basically put the decision-making ability back with you. Okay, let's take a look at sun, rising, and moon messages and see what's coming through. Seriously? All right, sun and rising, we got 2 cards each. You can't see it because, so we got 2, 2, and 1. Let's go to sun messages first. They're all good. They're reversed, but let's just turn them in the upright position and talk a little bit. All right, so the first one is the 10 of Cups. And we are so far away from, the holiday season, but this one's definitely very December-oriented and festival-oriented. All of the sort of Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's sort of energy. So what we could read right now is that, because we're almost at the halfway point, we're like 6.5 months to the end of the year. So for many of you, you're opening up things that are actually going to come to fruition at the end of the year. So don't rush. Continue to work on things. And what kind of things are you bringing in? Love, support, new opportunities with networking and community. It's generally a pretty happy sort of card. What's beneath it? The 2 of Wands. And it is a very psychic, powerful manifesting card. So you're manifesting something that's, I won't say like distant future, but a little bit further on the horizon. That's okay, because one of the main messages today was to think of what's next. So for some of you, you're saying, I want more time with the people that I love, more time to myself. Maybe I want more love in my life. And these cards are indicating that that's coming through. Don't rush things. And now if we look at it in the reverse state, don't succumb to peer pressure. Don't second guess your intuition. And those are your messages. But I see some really beautiful things on the horizon. We talked earlier, though, about the importance of allowing the universe to set up the synchronicity and allowing the potential future partner for those looking for love to do the work that they need to do. You're a little bit more ready than them. You've called them and you're waiting, but they need to heal first. And let's give them time and also give yourself time. All those messages integrate in a really beautiful way for the sun. All right, so moving on to rising and ascendant, also 2. So we have the Page of Swords in reverse, and we have the Knight of Pentacles in the upright position. Let's talk about the Page of Swords first. So I love that he has I think it's called the golden mean behind him. There's a pattern to everything. The reversal of that could be breaking the pattern or creating a new pattern, also connected to what we talked about. This is also super straightforward. Page of Swords, just like Justice reversed, is going to be able to say no, or let's focus on this. Let's redirect our attention here, okay? The Page of Swords reverse is also an encouragement to listen and to make sure that what you said was computed and understood, comprehended. So you can say, are there questions? Or you can even ask, if it's really important, if there's like instructions on how to do something, can you show me that you've got that, or can you repeat it back to me just to make sure that you've got it? Make sure that they understand. And then you can also say, hold on just a second. Do you want me to really do this? Have you thought about this? You can ask your question here if you need to. This will save you time, energy, and money. We've got the Knight of Pentacles here. So you're opening up new opportunities by being outspoken. You may also realize you're worth more, you need more, you're overpaying, you're under something, like underrepresented, underappreciated. So this is understanding the value. This is speaking to the value. So that's why these two cards came together. Okay, Moon. Well, it's underway, folks, for you. We've got the world reversed. You can't stop change once it's started. You can't live in the past. It's important right now for you to focus on expansion, expansive thoughts, and also embracing opportunities. For many of you too, there's an encouragement to look outside of typical expectations. Someone thinks that you're going to do this as your next step, or you're going to live here for the rest of your life, or you're going to do this because everyone else has done this. You're like, no, I have to do some exploration. I have some other things that I need to experience first. So think in the most expansive possible way, cast a very wide net, and take the first step towards movement. Because you've actually gotten the two final cards here. So for the moon sign, you're actually already at the world. For the rest, you're still at the judgment stage. So I like this. It's basically showing me that the book has almost closed. There's something new that's starting. It's just about embracing the change. Acceptance is maybe one of the under the surface energies that you seem to be grappling with this month. And I hope that this reading has helped you get to a place of more acceptance. All right, now we are going to move into the final components of this reading. Before I do that, a quick reminder, it helps the channel. And I think, believe it or not, sometimes it's like 50 or 60% of the people that watch don't subscribe. So it costs nothing. If you haven't, please do it. If you have, thank you very much. You can always follow me on social media. A reminder that both here and elsewhere, I don't give private readings. It's just what you see here on this channel. So if anyone offers you a private product, service, or reading, it's not me. And to that end, thanks to everybody that gave back. I'll say a personal shout out when we're done with all of this. Okay, let's get ready for two things that we're going to do here. We do a meditation and then a final card. What is the final card, Nicholas? The final card is a chance for you to ask a question that I have yet to answer. This is general, so a lot of you might be dealing with something specific. So if you have something specific, just take a deep breath and relax. For those of you ready to hit the close button, don't. Remember what we talked about today. If nothing else, it's that you need a moment to relax. This rest and rejuvenation is going to allow you to heal and open you up to new things. So that's all we're going to do today. I'm just going to play the singing bowl, and I just want you to relax. You can, if you'd like to, just imagine yourself floating on what feels like a cloud. You can be in the safety of your bed or whatever, or you can imagine that you're floating above your body in the sky and you're just looking at things, and there's this soft energy around you, loving, light, and bright. And as you look to the horizon, you can feel the sun warming up your mind, body, and spirit. Just receive, just be in a place of receiving, like you were just getting an upgrade. That's all you have to do today. We're not going to go into a massive meditation because many of you just need to breathe, listen to the sound bath, and chill for a moment. So I'm going to allow you to do that, and you can do whatever you'd like to in your meditation. But you can imagine, if you want to, just a ray of sunshine warming up your body as I play the singing bowl. All right, stick around, and then we'll look at your final card at the end. Take a nice deep breath. Allow your mind, body, and spirit to come back into your body. Keep the warmth and light of the sun around you. See this golden energy emanating from your solar plexus right around your belly button and reaching out with rays of light in all directions so that you're shining as brilliantly as the sun itself. If you haven't already done so, please open your eyes. And now focus, if you will, on the final question that you have for me, whatever that might be. Don't type it out. Don't worry about it. Just kind of hold it in your mind, hold it in your heart, and let's see what the answer to that is. All right. We have the Ace of Wands coming through. It came through in the reverse state, but it's still a very positive card. So in the reverse state, some of you may have something great that you're sitting on, a great idea, some inspiration, but there hasn't been a lot of work done with it yet. So we want to create the spark that we see here on this torch. And that spark can be talking to someone. It can be putting a plan, putting something on your calendar. We have to take it past the ideation or inspiration and into actual action. It's like throwing that baton in the air. That's what you're thinking of doing. So let's think of a way to move it forward and to see some traction. The minute you allow yourself to think, this is happening, not this can happen or this will happen, this is happening. I am doing this. This is how I will do it. The is and am conjugations of to be are going to be helpful when you are thinking through something because it's no longer in a hypothetical. So bringing it from an idea into an actual sort of energy is going to be the key. In relationships, rekindling the spark. In many things where the spark has gone out, maybe it's gone out for a reason. So if the thrill is gone, quote unquote, in a job or in an activity, maybe it's time to put the fire elsewhere, the energy elsewhere, the passion where you really want it. Okay? Powerful reading today. Thank you so much, again, for all of you that reminded me that the system was showing the wrong time. Yeah, when I booked it or when I scheduled it ahead, it was it just kind of put the wrong one there. So I appreciate that. Thanks to everybody that showed up today. So good to have all of you here. I'd like to take a couple of moments to welcome the newest subscribers. Thank you for spending some time today with me. I appreciate it. I'd also like to call out those who gave back today. We're going to start first with the newest members. Again, thanks for the memberships and the super sticker and super chat. I'll give an update as I get a little further along in the project, but it is helping me get everything going with the podcast. Carol, Mystery Miri, and Jaya, thank you guys so much. 2 of you rejoined, 1 of you joined. I appreciate you being a part of this community here and for making everything possible. All right, for super stickers and super chat, let me quickly take a look and see who gave back, because I saw there were a few, and I want to make sure I say thanks to all of you. Playtable Games, Dark Shadows, Adamla, and Elaine. Thank you guys for your contributions today. And take a quick moment here just to say thanks to the existing members since we had very little chat. So Martha, thank you very much for being a part of the community here. Sapo, Damla, Jill, and I think I got everybody. It was a nice small group today. Wishing you guys all the best. Lots of love and light. I'll be back again on Sunday. Typically the times shift a little bit, but Sundays are always the same. They're always around 9:30. Weekdays may be at 10:30, 11, or 11:30. You should check the day before and you'll be able to set a reminder. It's always AM, not PM Pacific time. And then I always do a daily card read as well. Plus, occasionally when there's something celestial, a sun, moon, or eclipse energy, I will post a video for that as well. All right, guys, take care of yourself. Wishing you lots of love and light, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.